And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you the one and only Lalush. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg for Team Millennium versus his opponent. It's Moon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes, it is Moon, and he is in the blue trunks, and he is also playing Zerg. We're going to open up right here on the Metalopolis. Zerg versus Zerg is not exactly what I'd call most people's favorite matchup. But regardless, we've seen some fantastic ZVZ up to this point. We'll see whether or not Lalush versus Moon lives up to the standards of the previous games. Particularly anything involving HeyPro has been utterly unbelievable. X-Lord versus HeyPro was a great Zerg versus Zerg series, one of the best that I've ever seen. We'll see if Lalush and Moon can live up to that one. Zerg versus Zerg for the first few minutes is generally very, very similar. Unless there's some kind of crazy early aggression going on. In this case, of course, we're looking at pretty much identical builds one way or the other. 3 more drones coming up right there, 2 overlords on the field, and we'll perhaps be looking for fast expansions from both players. We'll find out one way or the other very, very soon indeed. And I've said before, and perhaps some of you aren't really aware, Zerg versus Zerg really comes down to, certainly in the first 10 minutes, basic mathematics. It comes down to how many of his Zerglings can you kill with your Banelings, and is it efficient? And what the other player will be trying to do is to pick off the Banelings with 1 or 2 Zerglings at maximum to make sure that those Banelings don't splash and do massive damage to your force. As it turns out, Moon is going to open up with a fast expansion, and Lalush is going straight into an extractor and looking for that very early speedling timing by the looks of it. It's a good advantage to have, there's no question about that. Admittedly, Moon will be able to get an economic lead over his opponent, as well as the ability to build far more units. However, Lalush should be okay for the moment. We'll see. Extractor coming down for Moon as well. Still no sign of a spawning pool. Very confident opening by Moon. More to the point, will Lalush be able to do anything with it? Is there an opportunity there? The timing is looking pretty much perfect from Lalush right here to get that speedling upgrade going almost immediately, assuming that's what he's looking to do, which is, of course, exactly what he's looking to do. He's now going to have a massive lead over Moon in terms of that upgrade, and obviously speedling versus non-speedling is usually a foregone conclusion. This may force Moon to build some static defenses, and of course some economic damage could very easily be done here by Lalush. With the hatchery right here, and looking secure for the moment, but that's not going to last all that long. Lalush is following this up with some Zerglings. He's got 4 up, he's looking for another 4, and then he'll see if he can do any real economic harassment to his opponent. This is the difference between the speedling count, folks. It's 50 seconds, give or take. So Lalush has this 50-second window once the speed upgrade completes to do a lot of damage to his opponent and to outflank his defenses. If he's able to do that, then he'll be in a great position. If he's not, then he could end up being behind Moon, since Moon got this hatchery up much earlier. Static defenses coming down. There will be a spine crawler deploying at the front. Lalush is gathering up his forces and waiting for this timing push. Metabolic boost coming in 20 seconds time. Baneling Nest will of course follow this one up. That's really to be expected. There's the stack defense coming down, and Moon chases Lalush away for the time being. Lalush needs to wait a couple more seconds before he's able to get that speedling. He's actually luring Moon completely away, but Moon is not that stupid, and he's backing away immediately. And there's the speedling upgrade. Now we'll see how much damage Lalush can actually do. If he charges very quickly, he could get into the main base of his opponent. He takes 1 Zergling, he takes 2. He looks to try and take down some drones, and he's able to do so. Lalush doing extremely well with the harassment right here. He's already killed 1 working, now charges through, and the stack defense is completely useless. There you go, and right into the minimum line right here of Moon. Moon's going to have to do an awful lot to defend against this one. He pulls his drones back, and the Queen trying to cover it right there, doing a little bit more. Lalush picks off a couple more, and he could have taken some on the run past right there, but he didn't. So Lalush is probably hoping for a little bit more damage there. That said, Lalush has now taken the economic lead, at least in terms of the number of drones that he's got, so you can't really complain. Lalush falling back as much as possible, and Banelings are on the way. Once again, another critical advantage in this set of timings right here for Lalush is that his opponent does not have any Banelings. He has no sign of a Baneling nest coming up whatsoever right now. He's working entirely on his mineral count. There we go. Now, Moon spots the Banelings. What is his response going to be? He can wall off against the Banelings, and there's a detonation in the line right here. It didn't quite take them out. If he had a second Baneling, that would have destroyed that entire mineral line, for the most part. Unfortunately, he didn't have a follow-up to that. Lalush moving in, and Moon taking this opportunity to do a little bit of damage of his own. There are Banelings on the way, though, so I don't think Moon can do too much for the time being. Lalush just making sure that he doesn't go anywhere near Those drones took a lot of damage. The Banelings following. However, Moon is streaming across the map, trying to intercept. He's looking to try and grab those. Unfortunately, he stops moving, which is going to be a real problem. Lalush can get in there and do some damage, and that static defense is down, and of course, the middle line has been denied. No actual damage done. There is a nice Baneling detonation. He takes a few out. He's still got 3 Banelings left to play with. And he rushes once again, and Moon trying to pick off that Baneling. He should be able to take it. That's only 2 Zerglings taken out for that one. It's a good trade. Lalush needs to stop those, and he's able to do so. A couple more Zerglings coming in, and there's the detonation. He takes out a good 5. It's looking quite nice right here, and Moon taking a lot of punishment right here at the hands of Lalush. Lalush is now going to follow it up with Roaches, and while Moon had a strong economy, and he still does, he's taking punishment and he's falling way behind in terms of his tech. No Banelings, no Roaches. Moon's starting up with a Roach Warren right now, but he's far behind his opponent in that regard. Roach Warren isn't going to be up for another 45 seconds. Then, of course, he has to wait for the Roaches to come in. That said, he has the home ground advantage. He can spawn in his base, and it might make the difference. Lalush looking to try and flank around once again and do a little bit of damage. It's not going to happen for the time being. Spinecrawler is easily able to repulse that without too much of an issue. Lalush pushing forward. He's got a few Banelings in there. If he can get a good detonation on Moon, then he'll be able to do some fantastic damage to that middle line. But that's not happening. Great play right there by Moon. He picks off a Baneling with a single Zergling. Another detonation. This is fantastic play here by Moon. Can he take that final Baneling out? It's what he's looking for, and he gets it. Wonderful play there by Moon. Very, very efficient. That's the best he could have possibly hoped for in that. And Lalush streaming into the base, but he doesn't have a huge amount of units really to do any actual damage. He does get some scouting information, but that is about it. It's looking quite good for Moon, who has really managed to shore up his defenses quite nicely and now has an economic lead. However, will these Roaches make any difference? You'll see that Moon is now upgrading to a lair. Looking perhaps for some Mutalisk play as well as Speed Roaches and Evolution Chamber. 2 of them, in fact, coming up right now. Moon with good map control, keeping an eye on things. He knows where everything is. Those Overlords moving across, because of course they are under no threat of being picked off for the moment. Lalush's base looking fairly secure. A few Roaches on the field for him, 5 in total. A couple of Banelings as well. He's able to pick off those initial scouts very, very quickly. Moon not really in a position to do any major damage. You can check the army supply count right here. Moon basically has nothing. He's got 10 Zerglings, and that's about it. He's looking for +1 missile attack upgrade, as is Lalush, and a +1 ground carapace upgrade, but still looking for the lair. Getting those Speed Roaches could prove to be invaluable. Moon just flanking around and trying to pick up as many scouts as possible. Lalush moving across 2 Overlords in order to get some scouting information. Admittedly, they're at great risk of being picked off by those Queens. Only 2 Queens available still, but that is a bit risky. Lalush won't get supply blocked. That's not going to be a problem for him. Moon with another hatchery coming down right here. Lalush with some good scouting information and plenty of Overlords to take pot shots at right here by Moon. Lalush holding back for the time being, looking to try and mass some Roaches up. Both of our players are going for the speed upgrade for Roaches. Lalush is about 20 seconds behind his opponent. I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. Depends whether Moon is able to time this properly. Moon pushing away once again, trying to take yet another Overlord. Can he do it? He hasn't taken this one. That Overlord's on 5 HP right now. He's off creep. He'll be able to take one, but he can't take another. Moon sweeping around right there. A large force of Roaches for him. The army supply is very, very close. Lalush with a very slight advantage, but Moon with the economic advantage. 56 drones to 50 right now. There's a Baneling detonation, a little bit of waste once again there by Lalush, and it's good that Moon is using these Zerglings to actually detonate those Banelings. It's little things, folks, that matter in Zerg versus Zerg. If we have a look at resources lost, Lalush has lost slightly more, but it's not a huge difference. The unit kill count is almost equal, but it's been more Banelings from Lalush and more Zerglings from Moon. Well, 4 more Roaches on the way right here for Moon, and Pathogen Glands upgrade coming as well. Zerg missile attack on its way. Lush streaming forward with a large force of Roaches, but it's completely equal right now. Carapace upgrade is coming up for Lalush. Perhaps will time this. So looks like he's what he's going for right here. The ground Carapace upgrade will give him a slight edge against Moon, but Moon does have the home ground advantage. He can spawn. Lalush is already the hell out of there as quickly as possible. He's not willing to engage. He sees an equal-sized force backed up, as you can see there, by a few Zerglings, and Lalush is driven all the way back. Lush now has a significant Roach count advantage. Unfortunately, he didn't engage there. He could have done some reasonable damage. Picks off a couple of scouts. Moon scouts this third base right here from Lalush. If you'll have a look at the income comparison, Moon has a very slight lead, but his count in terms of his drones is ridiculous. Once the full transfer goes through, this is crazy. We've got 68 drones to 52. Lalush, however, does have a slightly larger army, but it doesn't really matter. If he's not able to harass those, then he's going to be in big trouble. Moon does not like the statue, and as such it will be demolished. Lalush still wandering around, seeing what he can see right now. Very, very passive game from these two. Lalush not willing to go in. Massing roaches, looking for +2 missile attack upgrade, perhaps looking for a timing there. Pathogen glands upgrade, getting the infestors in the mix is going to make a difference. Do a reasonable amount of damage, certainly, it will turn the tide. We're looking at 45 versus 35 in terms of the roach count for Lalush. And also, there is this window where he could go in with a +2 missile attack upgrade. If he does that, then he'll gain an advantage. Of course, if he waits too long, then that's going to be equalized right here by Moon, who is keeping up with him nicely on upgrades and is now picking up his 4th base over here. Infestor coming up right now for Moon as well. The Pathogen Glands upgrade is available for Lalush. Moon streaming across the map right now, looking for an opportunity. Probably won't get one. Not a lot of Zerglings there. Single Baneling moving in on the defense, and Lalush moving his entire Roach force all the way across to that expansion. Doesn't want to lose anything, and he certainly won't. He's got 45 Roaches on the field right now. Army supply is as equal as it could possibly get. Here's the deviation, however, because Moon's going straight for the Hive upgrade. That could be a little dangerous, to say the least. Very little done in terms of harassment in this game. Lalush has killed 6 workers and only 1 taken out by Moon. So the economies have stayed relatively equal. Lalush trying to catch up on drone count, doing a good job of doing so. An 8 drone difference between the two, but still Lalush just holding back for the time being. He does have infestors moving in, and surely this will be the time when he attacks. It's unfortunate that he threw away a potential window to go in there with an upgrade over his opponent. +2 ground carapaces completing for Lalush, though, so he could still go in, but he's playing incredibly passively right now. Army supply is now looking like it's really swung in his favor. He wants to secure this gold base. He should be able to do so. Lalush is still not willing to go for it. Moon streaming a set of Zerglings across the field. He looks to try and do some damage right here. An interception right there by Lalush. Moon slightly outnumbers him right there, but with the Roach support, this shouldn't be too much of a problem. A couple of Roaches just finishing off the remainder of those Zerglings, and Lalush moving across the map as much as possible, trying to secure this middle base right here, doing a good job of doing just that. Now, Moon actually has tunneling claws right here, and Lalush does not have an Overseer. This may make a really large difference in this encounter. Missile attack upgrade level 3 coming up for Moon as well, backed up by ground carapace upgrade. Level 3. Lalush will try and take the lead in terms of upgrades, and you can see we've got 7 infestors coming down for Lalush, and backing up by another 4. Root Spine upgrade going for Lalush as well, so we will switch out into some Hydralisks, and here comes the Hive upgrade. Spire is on the way. Are we looking for Broodlord? Surely we must be. There it is, straight into the Greater Spire right now for Moon. These two battling over the entire map, holding down. It's still in a very, very passive game right now, neither willing to engage. Army supply still in favor of Lalush right now. Of infested Terrans coming down because, hey, it's a free Overlord, why not? Might as well take that out, a little bit cheaper than hitting it with a fungal growth. Lalush has plenty of spares, so he doesn't really have to worry about that too much. His army supply is still looking good. Moon has the economic advantage by 9 drones, and Lalush streaming across once again, setting up spine crawlers in the middle of this, supported by Overlords deploying that creep. Interesting move right there by Lalush as he streams a couple more Zerglings in there. He's not looking to do any real damage, and he won't be able to, but he gets valuable scouting information, and he spots the Greater Spire coming in. There will need to be a response from Lalush, because, of course, if those Broodlords come out, he's going to be in massive trouble. He did have a Hydralisk Den coming up. He's now following up with a few Hydras of his own. Moon holding back for the time being. Really, this is such a passive game, incredibly so. Lalush just not willing to attack, Moon not willing to do so either. Lalush with a big economic advantage, possibly waiting for +3/+3 before he comes in. The thing is, here comes Moon's Broodlords. This is problematic, incredibly so. However, what I would like to point out, if I can find it, is the fact that those Broodlords aren't all that upgraded. He's just going for +1 flyer attack. Looks for an infestation, doesn't get it, unfortunately. And these Broodlords won't do a huge amount of damage to Lalush simply because of the amount of armor that he's got right there. Not a lot of firepower going down, and that is a mass fungal growth on there. A massive fungal growth landed by Lalush. Huge damage inflicted on Moon. And taking yet another one. Bunched up his units in a very unpleasant way, but Lalush is taking a beating at the hands of it as well. Army counter really falling hard, but Lalush is winning this engagement quite nicely. Moon will drive him away thanks to those Broodlords, but still he did a lot of damage. Moon taking some losses as he retreated right there, which was unfortunate. Still a fairly inconclusive engagement because nothing was really done. Money thrown away, certainly. And Moon has lost significantly less than Lalush, which may make the difference in the long run. Lalush going forward once again. It was mass fungal city going on right there. Few little sneaky infestors waiting to go. They do have what they need. Got plenty of energy coming in. Mass Hydralisk right here from Lalush. Unfortunately, fungal growth rips through Hydras like no one's business. Big damage coming in right here. A good concave for Lalush, but still, Moon is able to plow his way through that force. Big fungal growth. Lots of damage coming in. In the meantime, the Broodlords are able to clean up this gold base. Lalush falling behind economically in a very unpleasant manner, and his forces now locked down as Moon comes in with a very dangerous attack. 107 army supply to 47. Lalush streaming across the field once again. He takes down those static defenses, and it looks like he's even working on this one as well. GG, ladies and gentlemen, and Moon is able to take that first game in this best-of-3 series.